Hey guys, welcome to my live. I am going to be designing a new Raspberry Pi tablet for my 3D printer. This is going to be the case development. So I'm using Autodesk Fusion 360 and I'm basically going to build myself a Raspberry Pi case. So we'll start off with a new project. I'll just call this Thumb Pi. And I'm going to go into my assets and I'm going to grab in the basic equipment I need. So I should have a hyperpixel display somewhere here. There you go, there's the hyperpixel 4. So I drag this in. Could not external comment has never been saved. Okay, so I need to save my project first, that's fine. And give it a location. And save. Hello, what's up? Not much, I'm just making myself a new tablet from scratch. So we'll drag in the hyperpixel. This will be my reference model. And I'm going to expand this and I'm going to turn off these components here, which are basically the stand-ins which I don't need. Click on OK to accept position. And now I've got my display all modeled up and ready to reference. And let's see what else we've got. So I'm going to upload a new one. This is Autodesk Fusion 360. This is the hobbyist edition, so it's free. Anyone can download it. Raspberry Pi. So I need to go into my downloads and Raspberry Pi model shot. There we go. So I'm just bringing in a reference model. This is a step file. I'm just going to use the simple version. And upload this to assets. And it will start uploading. You're welcome. You should do Twitch. I've tried Twitch a few times. I don't get that many views on it. So my TikTok channel's a bit more effective. There we go. So we're back on Fusion 360. And I want to bring in my Raspberry Pi 3A model, which is now here. So I drag that in. And close down this tree now. It's a matter of the environment. People expect games on Twitch. So this channel's a bit more established. So as you can see, I have here my Raspberry Pi 3A+. So this is a quad-core Raspberry Pi with 512 gigs of RAM. I wouldn't trust Author's OS until someone else does a full spec sweep of the OS, but that's not going to happen. Now, I mean, anytime you deal with an illegal copy of Windows, you're taking a risk, and it's not a risk I take because my data is important to me. Also, I own enough legitimate copies of Windows if I need it. So I'm going to flip these around. (180°), and now I'll move it around. What I basically want to do is position this Raspberry Pi as it would appear in the case. Click on OK. Select the Raspberry Pi. Don't need to flip that one around. Well, I do actually. I need to rotate it. So position, capture position. Now I can rotate it. So 180°. drop it down. Again, capture position. This is where I zoom it in. I try to line the header with the GPIO. That should be minus 0.5. I forgot to capture it again. Okay. Let's try that again. What is this program using? I'm using Autodesk Fusion 360. It's you can get a free hobbyist version to learn the software and just make your own creations. So try and position this again. Right, if I click on OK here, that will update the position. Then I can just keep moving it rather than losing everything. Capture position and move up. So as you can see, I'm trying to align the header, which will be plugging into the header of the Hyperpixel 4. I'll accept that one for now. So that looks fairly well aligned. No, there's not a good alignment there. My 3D printer, I just bought it off Amazon. And maybe it'll fall down a bit. There we go. Got to get this alignment right because the screen needs to align with the board. And I'll type it in manually. Minus 0.5 mm. 0.75. Whoops. Let's try again. 0.75 mm. That's closer, but it's still not quite there. So 0.5 mm again. I need to make that negative. And try 7.5 again. Try 1. Moving again. Would there be a hobby? Would the hobbyist version of 360 be suitable for making 3D models for a 3D printer? Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Is getting all my electronic components lined up so I can then build a 3D model out of them. That will then go over to my 3D printer. Try 0.8, 7, 6, 5. Let's have a closer look at that. Yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, I mean, I found it pretty easy to pick up, but I've been using things like Blender for years, so 3D software, CAD software isn't particularly anything new to me. It's like anything, just try it out. Most of it, I just eyeball, work out measurements, that kind of stuff. Thank you, I grew it myself. And okay, so that looks like good alignment. Now the other way of checking the alignment is to see if the holes line up. And these threads do appear to line up. So that's a pretty good position for the board. I can be relatively positive that this is going to line up when I take it to model. There we go. So there's my Hyperpixel 4 and my Raspberry Pi 3 Plus A. So what I want to do is design a case that gets access to all of these different ports, including the SD card, which my previous one didn't. I also want to thread the case so I can have a bolt that goes down. Is that slightly misaligned? It's pretty good on the GPIO pin. So I think that's fine. I don't think there'll be any issues there. I'm going to put 1 or 2 millimeters clearance. So if there is any slight errors, that will compensate for it. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. So that'll be my new setup. I'll basically have access to audio, HDMI out, power in. I will be running this with a battery and a low pi, which I don't have asset models for. So what I need to do is look up the sizes of them and then just create a basic box. It's pretty easy to learn, better than most other CAD software. I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholder at the other day. I get along with most software packages. Right, so let's load this up. So I need to find the measurements for my Low-Pi Amiga Pro. So that's on the Pi Moroni shop. Let's see if they got a measurement for it. Dimensional drawing, yep, we do. So we've got 23 millimeters by 35 millimeters. Don't have a height, but I can eyeball that. As well as Button SolidWorks or Cinema 4D 5th edition, like that for me. Okay. Oh yeah, SolidWorks can be a bit complicated. And I've never really used Cinema 4D. I've always been on the Blender side of things. So I'm going to draw a box now. Capture position. Just going to draw a box and then I'll type in the details. So that was 23 millimeters. Now I usually get a little bit of shrinkage on my printer, so I will make it 24 to give it a little bit of clearance, and I'm going to make it 36 mm as well, and I'm going to give it 7 millimeters in height, and that should be fine. This is Autodesk Fusion 360. Give this a name. So this is my Low-Pi or LiPo, sorry, Amigo, sorry, Pro board. And the next one I need is the battery. So I'm going to look up the battery I bought in Pi Moroni, which was this one. So that's the battery I purchased. Now I want that size one. No, that's too small. That's the one I bought. Come on. Yeah, that's the set I bought. So let's see if they got some measurements. There we go. So we've got our dimensions right there. So it's 80 by 50 by 6 millimeters. So let's draw another box. So that was 8056. 80, 50, and 6. Now I'm going to add on a couple of millimeters. To allow for errors in printing, shrinkage of material, that kind of stuff. And there we go, we've got my battery size there. And give it a sensible name. This is Fusion 360. MAH battery. Now I'm going to save that there. And now I can start assembling and positioning things. So I want the low pi to be, can I fit it beside? No, because I got a USB-A port there. Could put it on that side, but I don't think I'll bother. I suppose I could make it a little bit longer, so let's try just grabbing this. This is basically experimentation at this point. I'm just going to visually see how it will be positioned and how it will look. See if it's what I want. I'm going to try and make it as thin as possible. And I could actually fit the power there, but it's going to look a bit weird. So I'm going to bring it more centralized, I think. Let's see how much space the battery takes up first. Let's leave that there. It's quite a big battery, isn't it? So I've got the SD card there that I want access to, so that's got to come down a bit. So I want some kind of access to my SD card. Because it's only a 4-inch display, there's not a lot of space to be working with. Yeah, this is the free version. Put the low pi over here. It is really expensive for the Enterprise Edition, yeah. I think I might just have to have a tablet with a chin. Actually, is it thin enough to put into that gap there? Let's try rotating it. Let's see if I can fit it under the board. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. No, I'm actually going into the board there. That's no good. Let's bring that forward. So it needs to be about that far out. So I'm going to move this over in this direction. We'll just have to have a bezel around it. I don't think there's quite enough space to do anything else. So what I want to be able to do is have a socket deep in the case that allows access to this USB port. I want to have access to this HDMI and the audio out. And I want access to my SD card. Okay, I think that's reasonable for some internals. So what I'm going to do is extend this down and join the objects. So if I extrude this down, that will join that. And I want to draw a box around the Raspberry Pi. Is that a bit too snug for comfort? No, I've got plenty of clearance there. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's a very powerful version. I don't have anything. I think it's got most of the features. It's just you can't use it for commercial purposes. All right, so I'm going to save that. Battery compartment and create a box here. Okay, so I want the little yeah, okay, that looks all right to me. So I'll accept that one. I will just temporarily hide the pie, and I'm going to extrude this down a little bit. Whoops, didn't mean to do that one. Let's try that again. Extrude by 1 millimeter. And re-enable the pie. So what I want to do is draw some more boxes around the I'm literally just drawing negative space right now. So I'm going to make this nice and long. Sorry for the stupid question. I'm new to the channel. Are you going to 3D print this? Yes, I am. And there are no stupid questions here. Ask whatever you like. Right. Right, don't need to extrude that, I need to make a new box. And giving some extra spaces around to, actually I need to make that thicker because USB cables are thicker. I'll extend that one out. And create another one. I'm going to put plenty of space around HDMI cables. They can be a bit thick. And I can always reduce it down in other iterations once I get to see the physical unit printed. So I'll stretch that one out. Audio jacks tend to be thinner. Thick boys indeed. Create another box. Again, I can put a bit of space around here because you never know the thickness of your audio equipment. Extend that out. And I need to extend this one out as well. And to give extra space on this one because it's got to go pretty deep into the case. So now I will reveal my battery compartment. I've got to join all this together. Extrude this up. And this one needs to go all the way to the top of the screen. And then I need to draw one around the screen. So I want to put a little bit of space around it because again the printer isn't quite millimeter active sometimes. And I'll draw this one upwards. This needs to be an object, new body. So I want the screen slightly above the lip because there'll be another piece that screws down. What do I think of Tinkercad? I use Tinkercad quite a lot for quick projects, but when I want precision and I want to draw in other assets, I always default to Fusion 360. But I've got quite a few Tinkercad designs out there. Okay, that'll do. So I'm just going to extrude this down by 1 millimeter and hit join. And that way we've got this whole body linked. So this is all the negative space I want to remove from a final box. You don't have enough. I do think you need a lot of spec for Fusion 360. I mean, get the hobbyist version, slap it on your machine, and it either works or it doesn't. So this is the box that I want to remove all this space from. And now I've got to remember how you subtract one object from another. You need more than a Celeron with 4 gig of RAM and 12 gig storage. Yeah, your system's a bit underpowered, I'm afraid. It's a Chromebook with Windows. Fair enough. Am I missing anything on this side? No. No, there's nothing on that side. Yeah, that's a fairly underpowered machine. Tinkercad is definitely your best bet. So I've just cut that body from the other one. I'll hide this. We now have that cavity. I think that's looking pretty reasonable. I just use Windows. Right, that's the SD card slot, so I need to make sure I've got plenty of finger space there, so that needs to be extruded down. There'll be a bit of a horrible gap in the case, but that's fine. Now I should have access to the SD card in the unit and the main ports. This will be for the low pi. The low pi could do with a bit of plastic to screw into here. And I need to raise this as well. So I shouldn't have this back at all, I don't think. I should just put a piece of plastic here. So if I create a box here, and extend that down. Have that join. Extend that way. That'll give me a platform for the low pi. And I need to I should just get rid of this entire wall, really. No, can't do that. Okay, that's fine. I'll just get rid of it this way. So if I extend that backwards, cut it, that then gives me an area to glue down the low pi, get access to the Type A. Battery goes underneath. I think I'll put a little bit more space for the battery. I'll extend this down first, another couple of millimeters. I'll lower the battery compartment so it can actually slide in there. Add a bit more thickness to the bottom, I think. No, that's probably thick enough. That's fine. Have I ever used Windows Education? No. It's been a long time since I was a student. Right, so now I'm going to save that basic case. And I'm going to do a little bit of beautification. So I'm going to grab these corners here. And that one there. I'm going to taper it in. So you have a slightly rounded edge on it. And then I'll do the same for these bits. So it fits a bit more nicely in the hand. I have to do these manually. Okay, that's fine. So I'll bring that in this way. There we go. A little bit of a curve to the box. A little bit less sharp in the hand. And I need to drill some holes. So if I take my hole tool, now what I'm actually going to do is make the lid as well. So I'm going to extend this up by a couple of millimeters. Like that. Then I'm going to add in the holes. So these are going to be 2 millimeter holes. I could be a lot more accurate with this, but this is a first prototype, so I'm just going to stick some holes in it. And here. Whoops, didn't want to do that one. Let's try again. Thank you for the likes, I appreciate it. So that's there like that. So I'm now going to create another. I'm thinking, and I want to do a slice. So I'll split the body. I need to create a plane. I'll just use a box, it'll be easier. So I'll just create a box here. Make it nice and thin. Drag it through there, and that'll cut off the top part for me. So this is base, and this is display holder. Your Wi-Fi sucks. Oh dear. And I'm going to create another box. Okay, and then I'm just going to eyeball this one. So one more box. Try that again. Tear that down. And okay, that will then serve as a lip of the screen, and then I'm just going to extrude this up. Till it's nice and flush. There we go. So now we've got a bit of a screen lip, and I can adjust that later on more accurately. No, well, let me round that. That's fine. I don't care that much. And there we go. I think that's reasonable. I'll only really know when it's fitted. So I will save that. V1 finished. And I'm going to export these things separately. So I'll select the base. And I will export this. I want an STL file. I'm going to stick it in Form Technology 3D Printing. This is going to be known as the thumb pie. And this will be version 1. I'm just going to call this base. and export. So wait for that to convert. So that's now exported. Double click on that and bring it into my printer software. So that's what it will look like on my 3D printer. Start slicing it with standard. This will be a tablet. Slice preview. And that's basically what it should end up looking like. So this will take me 4.5 hours to print out. I basically just sized up boxes, to be honest. I was a bit crude about this, but it works. Let's get one fine inspection. Thanks, man. I appreciate the support. And I don't see any major issues with that. But as you can see, I'm paranoidly going around it again and again just to make sure. Supports. I knew I was missing something. I need to put some supports in there. There we go. That'll make things a bit cleaner. Yeah, okay. I knew I was missing something. I just couldn't quite twig what it was. Right, let's start slicing that one. And slice preview. So that's 5 hours and 8 minutes to print this case. Cool. I guess I'll get on with it. So that basically brings us to the end of this live now. It really is just a matter of me hitting this print button, but I've got to go and turn on the machine. But you've just seen the entire design process of a Raspberry Pi case designed for a Hyperpixel 4 using a Raspberry Pi Model A Plus, which you can actually get right now on Pi and Rapid Online. And that's about it. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've picked up a few tips, and I shall see you all later. So thanks again.